you're in a relationship and you only have 5 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction, then the relationship will end. 2 negative. But if you have more than 11 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction, then it also ends.
Hey there, welcome back, and please subscribe the channel for regular inspirational videos. Today, we're going to talk about Jordan Peterson's insights on how to talk with a woman and how she chooses a man. Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist and professor who has helped millions of people to understand human behavior and improve their relationships. In this video, Jordan Peterson shares his views on how to talk with a woman and how she chooses a man. He explains that the key to talking with a woman is to listen and understand her perspective. We must be empathetic and respectful of her opinions and beliefs. Peterson also talks about how women choose men. He emphasizes that women are attracted to men who are competent, confident, and compassionate. A man who is capable of taking care of himself and others, who is willing to stand up for what he believes in, and who treats women with respect and kindness, is attractive to women. Peterson also suggests that men need to take care of their physical appearance and health. Being physically fit and well-groomed is a sign of self-respect and confidence, which is attractive to women. In conclusion, Jordan Peterson's insights on how to talk with a woman and how she chooses a man are valuable for anyone who wants to improve their relationships. His advice to listen and understand a woman's perspective, to be competent, confident, and compassionate, and to take care of oneself physically and mentally, can help men to attract and maintain a healthy relationship with women.
When I talk, I try to feel and see if the words are stepping stones or foundation stones, right? It's like, is this solid? Is this word solid? Is this phrase solid? Is this sentence solid? It's a real sense of fundamental foundation under each word. And I suppose people ask me if I pray, and I would say, I pray before every word. You look in the modern world and you try to predict number of available sexual partners for a given male. Your best predictive measure of that is income. And the best predictive measure of that is intelligence and conscientiousness. Women aren't after resources. That's wrong. They're after the factors that predict resources. What happens is that the males obviously are selected for their ability to move up dominance hierarchies. Obviously, because the ones that are at the top of the dominance hierarchy reproduce preferentially. And so that means the male dominance hierarchy becomes a method of selection. But then allied with that is the female proclivity for choice on whatever dimension the dominance hierarchy happens to be arranged. And so then female sexual selection also becomes a radical, non-random selector of what genetic material is going to move into the next generation. And so I fail to see how any of that can be separated from the emergence of complex nervous systems and mind over the course of evolution. Because creatures aren't making random choices. They're not random at all. So we even know such things like, imagine a peacock's tail. It's covered with eyes, which is quite interesting because eyes, of course, attract attention, and lots of animals have evolved eye-like markings. Like moths, there's moths that when they unfold their wings, they have 2 big eyes on the back of them, and that's to keep birds from eating them, right? Because the birds don't like being stared at, so they stay away from the moths. But so a peacock's tail is nothing but eyes, and so it's very attractive, and it shimmers, and there's something about it that's beautiful, which is quite interesting too. The females have obviously been selecting the male peacocks for beauty. They have this insane tail. Well, so the evolutionary biologists have thought, well, what possible utility could that tail be? Is it just maybe the females got fixated on tail, so to speak, and you know, you got a Baldwin effect loop going there, and the male peacocks just got bigger and bigger tails, and it's just like an evolutionary dead end. It's, you know, it's a positive feedback system that's gone out of control. But they have done things that like look at the symmetry and breadth, say, or the symmetry and size and overall quality of the male peacock's tail as a marker for physical health. So reduced parasite load, for example, and it does turn out that the healthier male peacocks have better tail display. And so what the females seem to be doing is using some marker or some set of markers as a proxy indicator for health. And I think you could say reasonably that female human beings do the same thing to male human beings. And there's some of that vice versa too. Like we evaluate each other, for example, for symmetry, which is one of the elements of beauty, because healthier people tend to be more symmetrical, and lots of animals use symmetry. Butterflies, if butterflies won't mate with another butterfly, if it deviates from symmetry by the tiniest amounts you can imagine. So symmetry is a marker, and there's other markers like shoulder width to waist width is one, and waist width to hip width is another. That's usually what males use that to evaluate females in part. So there's lots of markers of health, but it also looks to me like the data worldwide seems to indicate that women, so imagine that women mate across dominance hierarchies and up, socioeconomically speaking, and on average across cultures, women go for men who are about 4 to 5 years older. You know, it varies. In the Scandinavian countries, that's shrunk a little bit, but not that much. And in other cultures, it's bigger. I would say that depends to some degree on difficulty of establishing economic independence, right? Because in richer countries, it's easier to have enough economic independence if you're a male to be a useful participant in the process of having children. But it doesn't matter. Cross-culturally, it's still across and up, where men mate across and down. They don't care much about socioeconomic status. It doesn't seem to be part of their selection method. Wealth had no main effect. The only effect was usefulness. So the poor useful guy and the rich useful guy were attractive, more attractive to the women than the two useless guys, regardless of their socioeconomic status. And the women judged the useful guys as higher in openness and conscientiousness, which was pretty smart, because openness is basically intelligence and conscientiousness is hard work. And those are the best predictor of socioeconomic success. So, yay women, good work. The things that have made women attractive to men across time are the things that are associated with health and therefore reproductive capacity. So for example, waist to hip ratio is a marker. 0.68 seems to be about ideal. If you're in a relationship and you only have 5 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction, then the relationship will end. 2 negative. But if you have more than 11 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction, then it also ends. And you think, well, that's pretty bloody peculiar. Why in the world would that be? Don't you want like 100 to 1 positive to negative interactions? And the answer to that is, what makes you think that you want a relationship so that you could be happy? Or at least happy moment to moment. Why do you think that? It's certainly not the case. You know that too, because I bet you there's not a person in this room who hasn't rejected someone because they were too nice to them. Something like that. Person's no challenge. It's something like that. You want someone who, you know, you can get along with them, but now and then they bite you and you think, oh, that's interesting. You know, I didn't really expect that. And then you go and puzzle over it for a while and you torture yourself about it. And that's one of the things that keeps you really linked into the relationship. And the reason for that is that part of the reason that you want the relationship isn't so that you're happy right now. It's so that you can live a high quality life across multiple decades. And so you're looking for someone that you have to contend with, who's going to push you beyond what you already are, and who's going to judge you harshly often for your limitations.
Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you found the content helpful and informative. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you have any suggestions for future video topics, please leave them in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.